let's do the national title game. Let's do it. We've got. I still can't believe this is the national title game. Before the playoffs, the path was set for these teams, though. You look at their paths and you go, well, between Notre Dame and it's going to likely be between Notre Dame or Penn State, Georgia with a backup quarterback and everything. This is likely to be the path. Ohio State, Notre Dame game is in Atlanta. Ohio State is favored by 8.5 in this spot. Over under 45.5. Dylan, do we see another national title blowout?
I got a lot of thoughts here, and I feel like I'm going to jump all over the place. So I'm going to try and consolidate them. Huh?
Take the ball. Take the ball. The ball's all yours.
ISO. Clear the paint. Ohio State opened as a 10-point favorite. I think at some books it was like 7.5. Some books there was a pretty big discrepancy when this line opened. I want to speak a little bit about this national championship and what it means. We talked at the beginning of the season, the teams that were going to benefit most from the expanded college football playoff. And we talked about Penn State, and we talked about Ole Miss. It turns out it's my Ohio State Buckeyes that benefited the most from this. We could possibly see in the college football playoff era, the first 2-loss national champion in the history of the college football playoff. I thought that was an interesting point to bring up. Both
is that good? Like, do we like that? Because clearly, if they win the national title, then the best team in the country would have missed the playoff in years past. So are we okay with this?
Well, being an Ohio State fan, I'm more than happy that we have the opportunity to play for it. But some people online are saying possible Mickey Mouse championship, possible Mickey Mouse national title, because both of these teams probably incurred 2 of the 4 worst losses amongst Power 5 teams.
Who's saying that? Will and Wilkerson? Who's saying that?
No, Ryan Day Lover 69. Ryan Day Lover 69 on X and TikTok is saying that.
Is that your burner according to your shirt?
Wait, what about my shirt would make you think that? Oh, I see what you're saying. 2 of the worst losses came from these teams that are playing the national championship. You have Notre Dame that lost to Northern Illinois. You have Ohio State that lost to Michigan. Again, inexplainable. And as an Ohio State fan, I'm disgusted. I think you could maybe say Alabama losing to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt are probably the other 2 that could be up there.
No, they should have been in. No, they would have blown these teams out.
They should have been in. They're probably a favorite to Notre Dame, if we're being honest. But neither team won a conference title. Neither team played in a conference title. Now, obviously, Notre Dame doesn't play in a conference. But
one team didn't play in a conference?
Yeah. One team didn't play in a conference at all. They didn't even have a chance to. Ohio State, 4th best team in the Big Ten. And again, Ohio State fan, I'm glad we made it. But when you have the 4th best team in your conference competing for a national title, even if they win, you have to kind of be like, oh, what's going on here? Let's see. Did I get all my playoff that, I said this before. You have SMU, you have Boise getting in, you have Clemson getting in, you have Arizona State getting in. Is this something you really want to hang your hat on? Again, as an Ohio State fan, I do, but I'm just, as there's people talking online. So I am officially dubbing this the world's cutest national champion. Whoever wins this game is the number 1 cutest national champion. And I'm going to pet their little head because, hey, congratulations. You won the participation trophy national championship. Now, I went on that rant there. I do have actual analysis for this game. Does someone want to start before I keep going? Because I feel like
keep going.
15 minutes of Dylan talking is probably bad.
I want to jump in and just say this. It was 2023, right, where Notre Dame almost beat Ohio State and they ran in that touchdown at the last second, and Notre Dame had 10 men on the field. How much credence do we give this matchup? Like, how much you guys looking back at, number 1, that matchup, or even the 2022 season opener to start Marcus Freeman's tenure at Notre Dame? Are we giving any thought to those matchups as to how he's going to coach this game? Because I thought Notre Dame played them pretty well, especially in 2023.
Do you think he overthinks it?
I don't know. How he kept it close was, I feel like, limiting possessions, right? They dominated time of possession 35-25 in that last matchup last year.
Yeah. Who was Notre Dame's quarterback last year? Commenters are going to have a heyday, but who was it?
Sam Hartman.
Last year it was Sam Hartman.
It was Hartman? What I think the difference is here, and we talked about this on the NFL show once, it made a clip, is with Riley Leonard, I think the game plan is out there. You don't have to go win this game with your arm. You have a quarterback that is a great runner. You have Jeremiah Love, a great running back. It's like maybe Marcus Freeman doesn't even have the chance to overthink it. The game plan's out there, and we'll do the bit. I know we'll do the bit, but Michigan running it between the tackles, like that's something Notre Dame can do. That's something that Notre Dame has the guys to do. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't want to start the analysis because I just went for 7 minutes. So if someone else wants to kick this off.
They only had Notre Dame allowed 21 points in their first matchup 3 years ago, and then only 17 last time they met. They haven't really been gashed by Ohio State's offense under Freeman in either of those matchups. I don't know. I don't want to start here either. Ben or Karter, you can take the floor. I just want to look back at those two matchups and see.
No, you go first.
No, please.
Nah, you go first.
No, Dylan, come on.
Yeah. Ben, go first. Ben, go first.
Okay. I think this game is going to start out really slow. I think it takes a while for us to see points. It's kind of like a heavyweight fight. They're going to be feeling each other out a little bit. Pause.
We like that.
But I do think
Not the
both of these
feel each other out.
Yeah, premarital feeling each other out. These teams aren't married.
Great point.
That's very true, Karter.
they're not married, but they're in love. Jeremiah Love is going to have a strong. I think he's going to have a strong game on the ground. I do think both teams, a lot of their success is going to be dictated by how they run the ball, how they stop the run. Especially, I think it's going to be interesting with Riley Leonard's running ability. I do think, though, I think Notre Dame's going to try to take away Jeremiah Smith like Texas. I do have questions about whether they can do that because Texas is the one team, like we're talking about potentially the strongest secondary in college football with Texas. And so that's why I think they were effectively able to do that. So it makes me wonder, I almost wonder, I think the difference is going to be whichever quarterback makes a few more plays, because I do think it's just going to be like a dogfight in the trenches. Like I just think running the ball, offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, like I think those are strengths of both teams. And I think it's going to be like strength against strength. I do wonder though, like skill position wise on the outside, what quarterback's going to be able to get playmakers involved. I don't trust either quarterback super like a ton in this spot as a national championship quarterback, but one of them's got to win. One of them has Jeremiah Smith. The other doesn't. I think that's going to be a difference here. I think Ohio State maybe wins this game by like 10. I'm saying maybe 27-17.
Okay, couple things. One, as an overall college football playoff discussion, maybe outside of Dylan Gabriel, are any of these quarterbacks in this playoff a national title quarterback in your mind?
No, and I think we've known that. I guess like my point though is like you just close your eyes and you see Riley Leonard hoisting a trophy, or you see
that's fair.
Yeah, it's just like it's just weird. It's a little weird. You go, ooh, but I don't love the quarterback like as a passer. And then you go, wait, but that's both, and that's all of them.
That's all of them in this playoff. I mean, go back. You got we don't have to go through that.
There's a reason there's none of their names on the first round mock draft boards. I mean, this isn't years past like we've seen.
There's only like 2 dudes on first round mock drafts.
It's true.
Neither of them made
Yeah, but I do think this is going to be like good. Like usually people say Big Ten football and they're just talking about like crappy football. Ha, Big Ten football. No, this is going to be like Big Ten football where it's going to be like stopping the run, running the ball. Whoever can make a few plays, like a few big plays, some vertical plays on the outside is going to have the advantage. I have more trust that Ohio State can do that.
I'm nervous about
why.
I'm nervous about one thing in this game. And it's what I saw in the first half of Notre Dame Penn State, especially. Notre Dame's D-line was getting pushed around. And I didn't think that was going to happen going into that game. We know Notre Dame's pass defense is one of the best in the country, if not the best. But that run D was getting absolutely murdered by that Penn State offensive line. And if Ohio State can have any success on the ground, it is going to be extremely difficult for Notre Dame to win this game. If they get bullied like that again, I don't know. Ohio State can punish them more, especially in the air, and that'll open up things for Will Howard more. Because essentially what happened was Drew Allard just couldn't make the easy throws. Drew Allard makes an easy throw for a touchdown right there. We're talking about a totally different ball game. If he just the little check down on the flat, All he had to do was make that throw. We're talking about Penn State versus Ohio State. Will Howard's going to be able to make that throw, especially if Judkins and Travion Henderson are going to have space like that.
Number one Buckeye fan here, right? Are we sure we're 100% confident that Will Howard can make those throws? Because I have seen Will Howard sail Jeremiah Smith in the flat on the sideline 3 or 4 times this year, wide open.
How many in the last couple games?
Well, Oregon. Are we serious right now?
We are serious.
Yeah, we are very serious right now.
The team that was going to beat Ohio State by double digits.
Well, I'm batting like 600 on Ohio State takes this year. I'd be in the Hall of Fame and some if that was the case.
Are you?
Yeah, Indiana beat Ohio State. Oregon beat Ohio State the first time. I was wrong about Penn State. I was wrong about Oregon in the Rose Bowl, and I was right about Ohio State against Texas. That's 3 out of 5. That's 600.
Wait, 3 out of 5. That's
3 out of 5, 6 out of 10, 600.
2 out of 5.
No, Indiana. I was right. I took Indiana. Or no, I took Ohio State over Indiana. I was right.
Okay.
I was right about Oregon the first time, and I was right about this past game.
You said Oregon was going to win by double digits.
They would win the game, and they won the game.
You said by double digits.
Well, how about this? I'll send you my DraftKings account, and I'll let you know if that bet hit. Okay.
If you're playing horse, if you're playing horse, and I say bank, and then you swish the shot, does it count?
That's basketball, by the way.
We're not playing horse. We're betting football. I mean, what
and you said, if you took Oregon alt spread minus 9.5, does that
I did not say that. No, I did not.
You gave that betting advice out. You gave that betting advice out.
Yes, you did. Check the tape. Yes, you did.
I said take Oregon alt line. No, I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. That's what.
But this is besides the point. The point is, I own Ohio State. I'm the world's #1 Ohio State fan. I want to point out something you said. You had mentioned that Notre Dame's defensive line getting pushed around by Penn State. Ohio State's offensive line is not Penn State's offensive line.
I was going to add that as well.
It is not even close.
Fair.
So to say, I think what concerns me, and truthfully, I'm really struggling on what side to take here. My instincts. For
the smile got me. The smile got me.
For entertainment purposes, no. But for serious purposes, yes, because we know Notre Dame has the #1 pass defense in terms of EPA per dropback. We know that. But this Notre Dame rush defense against Penn State did not look good. That's the only type of ground that Penn State was able to gain. And we touched on Ohio State's performance on the ground against Texas. It was feast or famine, but we saw it get going a little bit more than we did against Oregon, Tennessee, Michigan. Like, it was... On paper, the numbers don't look great, and it was feast or famine, but it did look better. And that really concerns me for Notre Dame. Position groups?
Let's do it.
Please, enlighten us.
Now, this one was surprisingly tough. We're already starting off hot here. Quarterback, I said Notre Dame. Solely because of what can be done on the ground. I agree. We have Riley Leonard over 5 yards per carry compared to Will Howard's 1.9.
Well,
now,
are we talking about Will Howard in the playoff, or are we talking
Riley
about
Leonard as a passer also has been less than stellar.
That's true, too, and 100%. I am going to say, with saying Notre Dame's quarterback is better, I am saying that, and I understand we're kind of blurring the lines between position groups, Riley Leonard's ability to rush the ball so much better than Will Howard, combined with the rush threat of Notre Dame, makes Riley Leonard more valuable than Will Howard. It's a close one. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a blowout, but very close. Also, Karter, you said something about playoff games. Can I go ahead and cherry pick Riley Leonard's best games too and count those stats?
But
only if they're the most recent 2 games.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. All right. Running back, Notre Dame.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Wide receiver,
if
Ohio
he's
State.
healthy.
Yeah, if Jeremiah Love is healthy. Wide receiver, Ohio State. Offensive line, Notre Dame. Defensive line, I said Ohio State. And secondary, I said Ohio State.
Really?
I said, and it's not as close as you would think.
Sorry, I don't want to clog things up, but you said you liked Ohio State's wide receivers better. Yeah. So would that make Indiana have the best wide receiver room in the playoff?
You could
Rose Bowl update.
Maybe Oregon.
Orange Bowl
if Evan
update?
Stewart was healthy. Maybe. What'd you say, Karter?
I said Orange Bowl update, and then Connor said Rose Bowl update, and then I was hoping someone else would maybe chime in and go, didn't you say Texas would only score 10 against Michigan?
Oh my gosh, that feels like it happened years ago. That feels like it happened back during COVID.
That really does. It does feel that long.
Do you think we get those comments like next October?
100%.
Oh yeah, and I'm kind of glad Texas fans have unfollowed me after the Ohio. I'm so glad. 240 bookmarks on that video, by the way, and not a word came back after that. I just want to say,
not one word.
Not one word
being
from Texas
like,
fans.
You got lucky by the refs, and then that was it.
Real loser stuff for some of those Texas fans. Anyway, going back to the game, the real story for Ohio State is their defense. I really see this being a slugfest, Ben, like you said, but conversely, we saw Penn State. I understand Drew Aller didn't have that great of a game, but there were a couple plays you could point out, the 30, 40-yard passes to Tyler Warren on this Notre Dame pass defense that's supposed to be so stout. What makes you think that, or what makes anybody think that won't happen once or twice this game, both for Ohio State and even Notre Dame? Riley Leonard went over top this Penn State defense once or twice, and that kind of worries me when it comes to the total, because I think anybody that watches football is going to say slugfest, slow game, low-scoring game. But we've seen glimpses from both these teams. They can be really explosive when they want to be. Now, as an Ohio State fan, I am a little worried about the Jeremiah Smith 3 targets, 1 catch, even if that means you can let a guy like Carnell Tate make the plays. If you double up Jeremiah Smith or you shadow him or whatever, do that.
I think that was the right move by Texas to do that. I do think.
Because Ohio State's offense from the first playoff game against Tennessee and then the Rose Bowl compared to the Cotton Bowl it was night and day difference. I understand we can look at the score, say 14-point win. Offensively, they were much more electric. It feels like a weird word to say, but they were much more explosive those first 2 games than they were against Texas. And I think the recipe for success against Jeremiah Smith is out there. Just double team him, let Carnell Tate, Egbuka, whatever. Do what you got to do. I think Notre Dame is well equipped to do that.
Real quick, Dylan, stat off that comment. It was funny. I was looking this up doing my prep. Ohio State has the number 1 passing attack in the country based on EPA. So I was like, oh man, like that must mean something. Indiana was number 3, Penn State had number 4, and Louisville was number 9. So Notre Dame has seen 4 teams in the top 10 of pass EPA? Thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and there are so many things that could go either way here. I think you also look at Ohio State's defense. Their stuff rate against rush plays not great, 31st percentile. It really is not as good as you'd expect from this Ohio State defense.
Make your pick, Dylan. It's time.
It pains me. It pains me as an Ohio State fan. I think we're looking at the Fighting Irish as national champions here. I think they beat Ohio State, win outright. And it pains me because I want Ryan Day. Put on a quote. Just screen grab this. I want Ryan Day there for life, but and it is a win-win for me if we're being completely honest, because this is the world's cutest national championship. But I think Notre Dame wins.
How?
Okay.
I think it's on the ground. I think that they shock Ohio State. I would not be surprised. 7 pass attempts in the first half for Notre Dame. Maybe they even go into the second half losing, and it's one explosive play over the top that Ohio State isn't expecting, and that's the difference.
So 2 things here. One, the Ryan Day part of this. Ryan Day's getting an extension regardless, right? Even if he loses this game, unless he gets blown out by 20 plus. If this is a remotely close game, Ohio State fans were talking a big game after the Michigan one. He should be fired. He should be fired. Now, all of a sudden, Ohio State fans are calling Ryan Day this genius, and he's this amazing coach and everything. It's very convenient how you're
people
all of a
are buying
sudden in love with
shirts.
this guy. People buying shirts off Temu.
I wouldn't. As an Ohio State fan, I wouldn't be doing that.
Do they completely do a 180 though if they lose this game? I think they do.
I think they
my
do.
Gosh,
That's the thing.
yes.
I think after the game they're going to be like, he can't win the big one. He's got this ceiling and all this stuff. It's like, I don't know, man. He just went out and whooped Tennessee, whooped Oregon in the Rose Bowl.
Doesn't
and
matter.
Won by
That's the
double
problem.
digits in Dallas against Texas. It's like, I think you got the guy you want. But it's not going to matter because they're like, we were an 8.5 point favorite against Notre Dame, which is tough. But, you know.
You put on those Buckeye shades, Karter. You know what you see as a Buckeye fan? Lost to Michigan as a 20-point favorite. Lost in the national title game. That's all they're going to see, and you know that.
And trust me, Buckeye fan here. No one is ever going to say that Buckeye fans are the first to have a rational thought. No one is going to say that Buckeye fans are the first to actually use logic when assessing a situation like that. So, Connor, you're exactly right. It's lost to Michigan, national championship loss, Ryan Day out, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. I was going to make a James Wexner joke, but I feel like that's overplayed.
So
Real close with Epstein, and they named buildings after that guy in Columbus.
Hey,
But you're an Ohio State guy.
But I am an Ohio State guy, number one Buckeye fan.
Should we get into the Carolina stuff, Dylan? That I was
Yeah,
texting you about?
we can.
COVID started in North Carolina.
We can't get demonetized. Connor.
So look, I want to lay this out before I get into my true pick. There is a key for Notre Dame. There is a path to win here, and I think that path is forcing Ohio State to turn the ball over. They forced 32 turnovers this season. Notre Dame finished plus 15 in turnover margin heading into this game, and they forced Drew Aller into that late pick, which led to their game-winning field goal. Can they force Will Howard to do the same? I'm not sure. And the other positive from Notre Dame is I don't think they'll get too cute in crucial situations. I don't think they're going to pull a Steve Sarkisian and pitch the ball on 1st and 1 from the 6-inch yard line or whatever. They're not going to do that. If there's one thing I've seen about Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman throughout this run in the playoffs, they've been well coached. They have not been out coached. And I want to give that credit to Notre Dame. However, as much as I love Riley Leonard as a competitor, as a dog, he was out there some of those 3rd, 4th, and shorts, gutting it out, getting first downs. This Ohio State defense is different. Riley Leonard as a passer has been less than stellar, and Notre Dame's lack of playmakers on the outside, I think that matters. You're going to have to get a surprise breakout superstar performance from one of these no-name Notre Dame wide receivers if they even want a chance, and I don't see that happening. I think Ohio State is able to stifle Notre Dame's run game, and I don't think they're going to be able to play through that. Will Howard's been dealing. I like Jeremiah Smith to be more involved early and often. Give me Ohio State. I don't think it's a blowout. I know that's boring. I don't think it's a blowout, but I do think it's a comfortable 10, 13-point win. Maybe Notre Dame scores in garbage time to make it closer than it actually is. But if the thing is, I'll close with this. If Ohio State plays average, they will win this game. If Ohio State plays average and they just play okay, and this is a normal game without any crucial red zone turnovers, they're going to win. Notre Dame's only path is a key turnover or a blocked punt, return kick, something that we don't expect. That's their path. I don't think it happens. Give me Ohio State 24-16, Vegas special. There's my prediction.
I love it. Ben, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Here we going.
I think I touched on it earlier, but I think Ohio State 27-17.
All right.
Karter?
I came into this, I wanted to pick Notre Dame. I wanted to, but I'm not. Don't overthink it.
I love it.
I know Dylan Island. He loves being on an island. Dylan loves islands. Dylan loves going to islands with certain people. Dylan
What island is Dylan love? I was going to say.
Yeah, see, yeah. Dylan
Ohio State
loves
guy.
islands.
Makes sense.
But yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of right, Connor. I don't want to say that about my own people, but you're kind of right.
I think Connor nailed it. If Ohio State plays an average game in this one, they'll win this ball game. Riley Leonard, do we actually trust him to make the big throws against this Ohio State defense? I'm not so sure. I think the weapons are the difference in this one on the outside. I don't trust Notre Dame's weapons on the outside. I don't trust Bo Collins, Faison, and Grayhouse to outscore and have a better game than Egbuka, Smith, and Carnell Tate.
Would Carnell Tate be the best receiver on Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Probably.
There you go.
And so I think that's going to be the difference in this one. And I think the most underrated story about going into this national title game is the injuries to Notre Dame's defense. I think if they had a fully healthy defense, we're talking about an even better, maybe the best defense in college football. Give me Ohio State in this one. I still think Notre Dame covers the number, though, but don't trust my advice on any of this. I can't hit a pick to save my life recently, so Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 24. Sneaky high scoring.
Yeah, I'm going to go Notre Dame 27, Ohio State 24. Notre Dame, cutest national champions ever.
Is that just because Marcus Freeman's the coach?
For the cutest?
Yeah.
Well, if Notre Dame wins, yeah. If Ohio State wins, it's the cutest because it's like a Mickey Mouse, like two lost national champion. Has that
Bubble national championship.
Yeah,
it's like
be
2020 Lakers.
Yeah, 2020 Lakers, Dodgers when they won it, and then Ohio State in the 12-team playoff, apparently.
Serious question that I just thought of. Or I should have brought it up earlier, but I just thought of it. Is there any concern, like Nico had some success when they had to face a dual threat quarterback, Ohio State, like Nico had some success on the ground. And I guess Dylan Gabriel, you can maybe make the argument, but they weren't really playing in a position to unleash that, I don't think. Even Alex Orji in the Michigan game had some success on the ground. Is there any concern about that?
That Tennessee game, real quick, Dylan Sampson went out early, so Nico was kind of forced to carry the ball 20 times. I don't think they really had another option. So I don't know how much stock I put in that.
We have seen Ohio State kill starting running backs. So we saw Jordan James went down. We saw Dylan Sampson went down. Now Jeremiah Love has been dealing with injuries all playoff. Does Ohio State try to kill him in this game, Dylan?
Speaking as an Ohio State fan, number one Ohio State fan, for the Ohio State fans, yes, they do.
Okay, just making sure you're speaking for the Ohio State fans.
Yeah, every one of them.